faces, the same 10 or 15 reporters, and they're asking you kind of the same questions about the race. What you think about this. And I had a lady come up to me, and she asked me, she said, well, how does faith affect your job? And I was like, man, that's a loaded question. It's a great question. And I could have gave her the generic answer, and but it really caused me to reflect and think about the gospel, the message of John 3:16. The gospel in its fullness is radically scandalous. It's incredible. And when you really reflect on that, and that's what I was able to do yesterday, it's changed every area of my life. There's not one thing it hasn't affected. I mean, faith, Jesus has penetrated every area of my life. Everything that I do, everything that has happened. Literally, I went from here to a 180. And so when I was thinking about that, how do you tell her? How do you explain that in a short period of time? And you can't separate it. God calls us to be all in. He's not looking for a little bit, he's looking for all of it. And so when we go all in, that's every area. Early on in my faith, I try to God, you can do this, I'll take that salvation, but don't mess with this. And that's not how it works, man. I mean, he asked you to be all in. And so my message and what I was hearing this morning is just like Aric was talking about, is man, it doesn't matter where you're at, what you've done, just like Pastor was talking about. God loves you and he has a plan for you, but it requires us to ask him into our lives, to repent and give him everything we got, all in. And when you talk about the love that God has for us, I had that aha moment that Chase had. I remember it, holding my son. He's 14 now. He doesn't let me hold him anymore or hug him. He's really weird about that, But I had that same aha moment of I just never felt so much love in my life. And then I thought about, like Chase said, but I'll add a little bit to it. We think that we understand that depth of love because we can, but we're imperfect and sinful, and yet we still have that much love. Imagine what God's love is for us. And then just this world that we live in, this rat race that we can get on the wheel of being performance-based and result-driven. Every single one of us up here wants to win the race today, wants to do our absolute best. But your performance is not what you're defined by. Your results are not what you're defined by. At the end of the day, what you're going to be defined by is if you know Jesus or not. You're going to hear one of two things. You're going to hear, well done, good and faithful servant, or depart from me. There's no in between. And so the race that we're running is eternal. And when we all stand before God, that's the message we want to hear, is well done, good and faithful servant. What I don't want you to hear is that's performance-based. You only hear, well done, good and faithful servant, because you put your faith and trust in Jesus. It's got nothing to do with your performance. If you could perform well enough to do it, you'd have done it on your own, but you can't. And so...
and that's a daily battle.
It's an hourly battle. Maybe you're better than I am, but it's an hourly battle.
But I think about that. I hear him saying that, and I hear what the pastor was talking about, and I hear the pastor talk about the two types of people. And I'm guilty of the comparison. I think every one of us up here is, because every single Sunday when we leave the racetrack and get on a plane, we have no choice but to compare ourselves against our competitors.
We have pages of comparison.
Right.
Pit stops, driver times,
we have all sorts of data, and then at the end, the ultimate telling of comparison is the result sheet. Yep. Right, when they put the finishing order up. So for us, it is a daily or hourly battle. And even once you pray that prayer, the pastor was asking you to pray today, to ask Jesus to come into your life. I've prayed that prayer, right? I've turned away, just like Michael was talking about. All of us have. But that does not mean that you immediately change and from there on you're never going to be sinful again. It's a daily battle. You will continue to mess up. You will continue to fall short for the rest of your life. So it's a daily battle to surrender. As Michael likes to call it, die to yourself.
Yeah.
You have to wake up every day and die to yourself and commit to serving the Lord.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys for having us out this morning.
Thank you guys. Thank you.